Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is a Valentine tank. It's a Tier 3 British light tank. It's located on the south spawn of Steps, and it's under the command of WoodyAmsterdam. And he previously appeared on our channel as Photobomber, of the Fun 2 clan, but Photobomber had his account stolen, which is how important it is to keep your passwords private, because somebody managed to get away with his account, and they even played with it. I think he's got a chance of getting it back now from Wargaming, as he reported it to them. Well, what can I tell you about the Valentine tank? Well, they built 8,275 of them during the war. They started designing it in 1938. It was in service from 1940 onwards, and it kept in service with various armed forces until 1960. Now, they built 6,855 of these in the UK and 1,420 of them in Canada. And some of them even actually saw action in the Battle of Moscow in 1941, when the Germans got to the outskirts of the city. There were Valentine and Matilda tanks fending off the Germans and stopping them getting even closer. Now, the main armament on this one is the 2-pounder, which is, of course, a 14mm gun, capable of 50 alpha, 78mm pen with standard AP, and with the APCR, that goes up to a whopping 121mm, which means this tank can take on KV-1s. It also has HE rounds capable of 60 alpha, but only 23mm of penetration. The armour is mainly around the front because this is a walking tank. It's designed to go at the same pace as the troops as they're walking. Oh, he spotted an enemy, a Panzer 1C, who fires at him, and it can't get through the armour. Now, I think that was a 20mm round from the Panzer 1C. Now, something funny about this game, and you may see that from the team list, he's actually appeared in a game where there are nothing but bots. He's the only human player in this game. And of course, there are 7 players on the enemy team, so he's got to kill 7 bots to get the win. Now, he's auto-aiming on this one at the moment. Yeah, he's blocking these shots quite easily. The armour's very thick, actually. 60mm on the front on the hull, and 65 on the front of the turret as well. And then the sides are very strong. In fact, there's only one really bad weak spot, and that's actually the engine cover on the back, the corrugated cover. That is really, really weak, and so you can easily get through that. But the rest of the tank is very strong. So even against bots, it's going to have not much trouble taking them down. I guess the strongest tank that the enemy does have is either the M1542, the Italian, or the M2 medium, the American medium, with the dirt gun. But he's shredding this Panzer 1C. He's using his gun to aim for the tracks, disable it so it couldn't repair the tracks and move away. Now, it's not very fast. 24 kilometers an hour is the maximum speed, and that's about the same speed as a person running or a troop running. Now, the tank he's looking at now, it looks to be a medium 3 actually, but he's still penetrating it easily with each shot. They just don't have the armour to match up to the 2-pounder gun, and it's a very small round, the 2-pounder. You can literally shovel it into the breach very, very quickly, and when you do that, it means that your fire rate is incredible. Standard reload 4.79 seconds per shot, and he's got a reload of 2.97, which means those shells are going in like one after the other. And in fact, if you look in the turret of this little tank, there's a whole row of shells all around the outside of the turret, and the loader's job is just to pick those shells up one by one and shove them into the breach. The breach closes the moment the shell goes in, so it locks and closes, and the moment the gun fires, it spits the cartridge out the breach, and so he's ready for the next one. So it sits there basically in an unloaded state most of the time, and he's just shoveling those shells in one by one. That's how they get the fast fire rate. Well, at the moment, there's 5 enemy tanks left. There's one behind him, a Light Fizz 38. Now, that's the Czech light tank that was actually the basis of the Hetzer, the Marder, and all the other tanks like the Panzer 38T or Acton ICT. But he's not going after that guy. He's actually going after the Chiha, the M1542, and the M2 mediums over in the corner. He's leaving that Light Viz 38 alone and letting his teammates deal with him. He's only got a quarter of his health left. He's been spotted by somebody on the enemy team. So as soon as they fire at us, we'll know where they are. He's not really worried about getting damaged. The only one that really could damage him is the M2 mediums if they work in concert. And he spotted one of them. There he is. Now, has he got a shot? No. Those railway carriages do get in the way. A lot of people play Matildas or Valentines for fun because it's a slow tank, but it's got a massively fast fire rate. So if you want to go and fire as much as you want at the enemy, you know, just blink away at the enemy, these are the two tanks to actually use. I know the Soviets actually did like the Valentine and the Matilda, mainly because they were so simple to build and to work on. The thing is that they did build their own tanks, and they built them very hastily and rushed them together. But the thing about the Valentines were that they did have decent armor, so they were good protection from the German tanks, although they did have problems with some of the German guns that they came up against, mostly the anti-tank guns. And he's got his, well, that's his second kill. Was it third kill? Third kill, sorry. Well, we can see a few tanks over here. In fact, now there's only 3 enemies left. The Light Viz is still down in the south. And he wants to get the kill on the Chiha and the M1542. Now, I think the M1542, because of its gun, is the one that's going to be the problem. Of course, that was a tank that was designed in 1942. Obviously, a lot of tanks actually do have the date of actual design in the name, and that's one of them. Now, he might suffer some damage for the first time. Well, he has suffered damage already, but he's got 2 tanks at the same time. But this bot is actually giving him the side of the vehicle, and now he's decided to hit the Chiha instead. Should be going for the engine bay if he can, and he's getting it now. But try not to expose your rear, because then the M1542 will get penetrations, and he did, yes. The M1542 is now getting pens on his rear, and that's where his weak spots are. Should ignore the Chiha at the moment and go after the M15. He's turning. In fact, he's actually getting in defilade underneath the railway tracks, but no, the desire to go after the Chiha is so strong, he's decided to leave the M1542 alone and just kill this guy. And he's doing it, he's trying to do it as much as he can without auto aim. And the M1542 just got a hit. And you can see it's on the engine cover, that's the weak spot. That's why I was worried about turning your rear to the enemy. Well, there's only one enemy in front of him now, the M15. He is bouncing shells, but he is using standard ammo on this guy. He's not using the premium. Just trying to take him out with standard so he can get maximum credits. And he gets the kill. Now it's just the Light Viz 38. He's over the other side of the map as far as we can tell. Now I hope he's not going to cap, because we would like maximum damage. Oh, he has decided to cap. Not sure if he wants to medal. There's a Top Gun on offer. Now, going into the cap has attracted the Medium 3 and the Panzer A into the cap area as well. So he's not going to be able to stop this now. If he'd actually driven all the way through, I think those 2 tanks might have ignored it. But they tend to do what the human players are doing. And now this is going to cap out very quickly. Much more fun to play it to get all the enemies killed. But that's it, the game's over, and it's a victory. And he missed out on a Top Gun. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a first ace tanker for WoodyAmsterdam in his new account. Yes, that's why it's one he hasn't played before, because of course it's a brand new account, so he's had to start from the beginning, which is what I did actually when I started up my all of the 4 accounts I've got on the EU server. I actually had to start from scratch. But the good thing about doing that, of course, is you get to play all the lower tier arties all over again and practice and practice and practice. And it does make you better if you're playing in lower tier games. Plus, of course, you have to rediscover the joys of marking lower tier tanks. Okay, so he managed to get a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. Fighter for getting at least 4 kills. He got 5, 1/3 of the enemy team, and 1 short of a top gun. He could have had that top gun. He also got a shell proof for blocking more damage than the hit points for his own vehicle, a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 10 in this one, and he got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game overall. And his win rate from the game was 20,256, but then he was basically the only one who was doing real damage to the enemy. We look at the team score, we can see that, yes, there's only one real player in the game. He got 1,970 hit points of damage, 5 kills, and 1,055 base XP, which means, yes, he's the only player to get over 1,000 base, and he's got the top in all 3 columns. But that's not really difficult because, of course, all the others were bots. And there were 2 enemy tanks that were killed by, no, 1 enemy tank that was killed by other teammates or one of the other bots. Because, of course, there was 1 enemy tank left at the end of the game. There was only 7 on the enemy team. He fired 52 rounds in the game, got 47 direct hits and 41 penetrations. I did notice, well, that he was trying not to auto-aim, as much as possible, manual aim his gun. And again, that does help, and it pushes the practice on getting the right way of actually aiming at the enemy weak spots. 1,970 hit points, all of it at close range. 23 hits received from the enemy, so the bots aren't, they are tough on you. He got 6 penetration shots, and most of those from the M1542 when he turned his rear to the enemy. Don't show your rear to the enemy in the Valentine, because it shows the weak spot. 17 non-penetrations. Well, most of those were the shots that were fired at the front of the vehicle, and you saw that they bounced off the turret. They just couldn't get through. 582 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 3 enemy vehicles spotted, 5 enemy vehicles damaged and 5 killed, 72 hit points of damage assistance. He got 41 capture points, and the battle only lasted really 9 minutes 21 seconds. He could have actually gone to the top gun. He could have driven back across the field, got to the other side and killed that Light Vis 38, but he didn't. But he did get a nice amount of profit because he did use standard ammo throughout. 95,650 credits profit. His ammo only cost him 1,560, which proves that he did use standard ammo in it. Yes, he did get the holiday bonus, and he got a reward for completing a mission as well. But 95,000 from a tier 3 tank is very, very good indeed. He also got 3,956 experience points out of it, and I'm sure that he would probably play this just for fun, because the Valentine is fun. It was on the EU server. God knows what time of the day it must have been that he was playing, but to get 7 bots and you're the only real player, or 13 bots actually, because there's 6 on his own team as well, that is pretty amazing to say the least. But it was a first ace tanker because you got the scrolls underneath. So if you enjoyed that little throwback to the tier 3 Valentine, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, and leave a little comment down below if you think he was bot slaying or bot crunching. But it's not seal clubbing as such, because these are bots. They've got no feelings. So he's perfectly willing to go out there and slay them. And of course, sometimes you find out that bots can be quite dangerous. Yes, if they start using premium ammo on you and then make your life difficult. Hope you enjoyed the video.